How's it going? It's Man Tomorrow here. I want to thank y'all for coming through. Hit on one in chat, you can be able to hear me because I don't know what's connected to what. I don't know what's connected to what. So hit a one if you can hear me because I don't. I think it's glowing in the top left corner. But hit a one in the chat, you can be able to hear me because you need to hear this before we actually go into the live stream tonight. And you may need to come back to actually listen to this live stream after I talk about what I'm actually talking about. Okay, all right, so somebody can actually hear me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to play it because this is a 12-hour live stream. When I used to do overnight live streams, I think 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But this is one from May of this year. We're going to have a new year, y'all. Have a new year, everybody. You know, I was going to do a live stream last night. I just decided not to do it. But you need to understand black male divestors. You need to understand the actual divestment movement. There was a divestment movement by black men here. And you need to understand what divested black men from progress sound like and look like. No, it's, I mean, because it can get flagged for multiple reasons. That's why it's not up there. But, and you need to understand how this actually works. So I'm going to just play the actual live stream, but you need to understand why these people are here. Because if you understand why they're here, then you'll understand why the actual manuscript meetup happened, which I'm going to go into tomorrow night. So you need to understand the type of people who you're dealing with. Even though I agree with most of the points of Obsidian, you need to understand what the point is. Because the person who asked me this question, they did not watch this live stream. And there are many and multiple times that he actually said these things throughout the years, but a lot of people don't understand that that's why these people are here, for the most part. Strong imagination. So I'm just going to play it. And after I play it, we're going to respond to it. And once I respond to it, then we're going to have tonight's conversation. Because it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go by listening to this.
I watch that. I agree. And I'm not hoping anything. I just enjoy Kevin, telling these women about themselves. I'm a confirmed bachelor and have no desire to marry no matter what happens.
Right. So that's you. And a lot of men actually do hope. I mean, you can read the comment sections and see how much they're hoping. You can go to other streams and listen to them talk and see how much they're hoping. You can go into mainstream. Hold on. You can go. You can go into mainstream America on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram. No, I understand. I'm just laying out something.
Yeah.
You can go all of these mainstream outlets and see that the hope is the hope. Like that is.
I get that, but let's stick to Kevin for a minute. Where's the evidence in Kevin's live streams that there are black men saying, yes, Kevin, tell these women about themselves because we want to get married?
Oh, no. They said in the comments. They said, I mean, shit, you could probably pick a video and just scroll down the comments and read the shit.
Okay.
I mean, they're all into the talking shit, and at the end of the day, they'll say things like, oh, no, he's helping us find the way and all this other shit.
The men are saying that.
Yeah, the men are saying that.
Okay. Right.
Hold on a second. Is there an echo? Hold on a second. Hold on.
See, you could very well be right.
You have a different perspective on that. That is your personal perspective on that.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. All right, how about this? I'm a black man, born and raised in Black America. I'm a confirmed bachelor, over 40. I am part of the biggest group of black men in the country, confirmed bachelors over 40. Question: what percentage of that group, black men, confirmed bachelors over 40, what percentage would Obsidian be representative of?
Percentage that you will be represented confirmed bachelors over 40. Okay,
Hello?
what are your goals? Yeah, what's up? We hear you.
Yo, Obsidian represents the niggas that basically didn't get married because he didn't get the bitches he want.
That's right.
Yes,
Okay.
so basically you would have got married, but the bitches ain't fuck with you.
That's right.
Yes, so basically you're a hope nigga, but you lost hope because the bitches ain't fuck with you.
I never had hope to begin with.
So what percentage of that is you? I wouldn't know, because there's people that still have hope and are confirmed bachelors. There's people that's in your position that are holding out. Who knows?
So that's not my question. My question is, what percentage would I represent in that cohort of confirmed bachelors?
I wouldn't know. A lot of people don't tell the truth, so I wouldn't know. There's no way to really quantify that. I wouldn't know. You'd actually have to take
no secret as to why I never got married. The women I wanted didn't want me, and the women that wanted me I didn't want.
Right now, but see, okay, so it's hard to get statistics on people who would admit that. You understand?
I do understand.
Okay, so that's just one of those things. Like, a lot of men they won't come to grip. Okay, what's the prevailing? What do people default to when they get into an argument with people in management? You don't get no bitches. So the percentage of men that are willing to admit that they didn't get the bitches that they want, how are we going to get some accurate numbers on that? So I wouldn't be able to give you a percentage.
Nobody is actually. Well, we have to start from the first step. Nobody has actually done a survey asking, in this case, the black men that we know they're confirmed bachelors. We know that. We just don't know why. We can intuit it. We can guess at it, but nobody has actually asked them, fellas, are you a confirmed bachelor because the women that you wanted didn't want you, and the women that wanted you didn't want? Nobody's actually asked that question. Would you agree?
True.
Shouldn't you have done it? That's your lifestyle. You should have been to that.
Pardon?
Right, but again, how many men? Okay, no, I can't ask that question.
What did Aegon say again?
You should have let that you should have let that Vanguard, because that's your life on some real.
Well, what? There's no Vanguard to lead if there's nobody behind me.
No, it is because you had to move. Obsidian,
that's how you find out how many people.
You had to move for a long time, and that's your lifestyle. You live. You never tried to ask the answers that basically you came to the conclusions of yourself to other people.
What I'm saying is we need to determine out of this cohort of confirmed black bachelors, how many of them are.
It shows it's kind of sad that basically you put that on yourself, but you never asked other black men.
Right, I'm agreeing with you there. The question has never been asked. I agree, including me. I agree. So we don't know. I agree with that. We don't know. But since I have the mechanism to pose that question, I will.
That would be cool to get some numbers on it, because I just don't know. You see it for yourself every day. Dudes their default is I get all the pussy and you don't.
What I found when this question comes up, a lot of black men tend to cite the family court system. I don't want to be divorced, raped. I'm not saying that those aren't legitimate reasons, but I'm inclined to agree with you, Zero. I can't prove it. I don't know the numbers, but I get the sense that there are brothers that aren't willing to say what I said. I can't prove it. There aren't brothers that are willing to say, because it's a big, in Black America, to admit that you're a man that can't get the women that you want, that's a stigma.
That's a super L.
It's a stigma.
That's a fucking life L. Your whole identity is wrapped up in who got more bitches, and then to say like I don't get no bitch. No, that's a super L for
what do you mean? Well, again, we have to be careful with the language. Not getting bitches and not getting the women you want are two different things.
Okay, yeah, we can distinguish, yeah.
So what we really mean when we say you don't get bitches is you don't get the bitches that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a huge distinction with a major difference.
Right. So again, those numbers, man, if you can get them, Godspeed.
Take Pablo Frescobar for a moment. He's in the chat room. I'm pretty sure if Pablo wanted to marry a Black American woman, he could have. And I'm pretty sure he had opportunities to marry an ADOS Black American woman. Here's what I'm willing to bet. I don't know this. Pablo has the chance to put some serious egg on my face. I'm willing to bet this. I'm willing to bet that the women that the Black ADOS Black women that Pablo could have married were, in his eyes, beneath him. In other words, he brought more to the table than they did in return. Am I right or wrong, Pablo? Am I right or wrong? You could have married an ADOS Black woman if you wanted to, but those women were not the women that you wanted. In other words, they didn't offer the value that you felt you brought to the table in return. Am I right or wrong? Here's the chance to put some serious egg on my face. Am I correct or not?
Bro, you probably got some of the best coffee I ever fucking, yeah, man.
Yo, I woke up half.
Yeah, Obsidian woke up and went right into debate mode. I was like, damn.
Out of nowhere.
I came through like my bad. I came through weird, man. I just woke up to this on job training, man. I'm like, what the fuck? I heard these questions like 8 months ago. What the hell?
So Pablo reports that I'm right.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's only one data point. It's only one. But it does suggest that what we're saying is true, Zero. Maybe the question we're not at. See, good research starts with a good question. Anybody that knows anything about statistics and research and study knows that a good study starts with a good question. And I don't think we've been asking the right questions. We need to ask this largest cohort of Black American men why they never got married. And I think that what I'm saying and what Pablo was saying is on to something. And I think the reason why we don't ask those questions is because it goes back to what we've been saying. In the British Commonwealth of Nations, of which the United States it was one. It was a British colony. We value women very highly. So this is something that a lot of women don't want to admit. You can't argue for patriarchy is oppressing you in the year 2021 when we protect you to such an extent that we can't even tell you the truth. We're willing to shield you from the truth.
So that should stick. Okay, cool.
Right. This nigga Bitcoin stupid.
I mean, think about that for a minute. Lizzo couldn't happen in China. Think about this. Lizzo couldn't happen in China. Lizzo couldn't happen in Venezuela. Lizzo couldn't happen in Colombia. Impossible.
Right. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I give you that. Hell yeah.
But in the United States, Lizzo could happen because we're willing to protect her from the truth. How is that oppressive? How?
Because she's not able to get Captain America. That's why. That's why.
And you know, it's interesting that Jessica says that because now we'll make the argument that not only should Lizzo be able to shoot her shot, which she did, but she should now get the equality of outcome. Not equality of opportunity. She had her chance to shoot a shot at Captain America. Nobody stopped her from doing that. Now she wants equality of outcome. Look at that.
Leslie and Lizzo shot their shot at Captain America.
Exactly. Neither one were prevented from shooting their shot. They did. They got curved. Now they're going to say you're oppressing me because I can't get Captain America. Make it make sense.
And all this is just to have another conversation.
What do you mean?
Like basically, what's the purpose of saying that about him?
My point is that I think the reason why we having a hard time in the black manosphere has been pivotal in being able to break through is because we keep trying to protect women from themselves, and that only occurs in the British Commonwealth nations.
We're having a hard time breaking through.
No. Let me say this again. The black manosphere has been pivotal in being able to break through on these conversations where no other institutions were willing to do so. For example, we now have black academics that are part of the black manosphere. Professor Ronald Neal, Professor Tiasan Johnson, by extension, Professor Tommy Curry. You know what these guys will tell you? They'll tell you that black male academics are shaking in their boots. They dare not talk about the things we talk about.
Yeah, except for Tiasan. I don't know if he got fuck you money now or some type of like irreversible tenure.
More likely tenure.
Yeah, but he been going ham. He kind of don't give a fuck no more. So
right, and most professors don't have tenure.
Oh, okay.
Most are associates or adjuncts.
Kind of figured I knew it was something.
So when you get tenure, yeah, you can go ham. He can go ham. But most black academics, particularly the male ones, don't have that. They don't have tenure. And I've had black male academics. Listen, man, I talked to the Glenn Lowry of all people. Glenn Lowry. He said the exact same thing. They are not going to go there with where the black manosphere is going. So we are never going to get these type of questions being asked, which centers around this. All women don't have the same mate value. They don't. Why can't we simply say that?
So they're just trying to put a mirror up to black women for the rest of the world to see, like Shahrzad Ali. Basically, but put degrees behind it, so it's credibility. Like, hey, world, look at how bad our bitches are fucked up. I get it. I used to be on that shit till I kept having conversations, and then it's like, what is the point of that? Because it's not going to change the power. Because basically, they have more. You're a second-class citizen to all women. So it's like basically you just doing that to have a TV show for everybody. Be like, yeah, we won. Look, everybody knows how fucked up they are. Let's get back to work.
Aegon makes a point because now again we have science. It's no longer a theory or a truism of the manosphere. No, it's science. Women gravitate to the 20% of the most sexually attractive men. That's a fact. So what he's saying about being a second-class citizen in the eyes of women, that's a real thing.
No, not in the eyes of women. Second-class citizens in the United States.
Well, let's look at that.
Let's look at
it. By extension, you would be a second-class citizen in society. For example, let's do this again. Right now, alcohol is legal. Betting, gambling, including sports betting. Remember,
I think you just went the prostitution route. The prostitution route would have won it.
Remember, Pete Rose, his entire career was destroyed because of sports betting. Today, sports betting is completely legal. Marijuana is legal, but prostitution is not legal. You are a second-class citizen. You are. I mean, there's just no way of getting around it. You can't use the science to validate one point and to not apply it to another. It's inescapable. This is the reason why I said a big part of the conversation has to be an acknowledgement that, yes, the elevation of women comes at the price of a lot of men. It can't be otherwise.
Yeah, that's how power works. Every privilege they get comes at the expense of yours. Tug of war.
So I think that what's going on here is using my situation, and now Pablo has backed me up on it. So now we have a data point or two. I'm going to go on my community tab and create a poll because I think now's the time, and it's not going to happen. One thing I've learned dealing with many black academics over the years, they're not going to do the research. It's too controversial. They're trying to keep their jobs. They're not going to do it. It's going to piss off too many black women in the Ebony Tower. It's not going to happen from there. That's the reason why Professor T. Hassan Johnson doesn't do his research on the college campus. He does his research on YouTube because he can't do it there for the most part. I have accepted that. So I've taken on the mantle of an amateur social scientist. I'll do it. And other brothers in the black manosphere will do it.
Well, I'm just going to do my part. When women decide to vote on what they want, I'm going to vote for it. That is me taking political action to get them what they want so that we can get what we want. I just need 27 to 30% of more men to do the same thing. Give them their equality.
Well, they pretty much have it already. Black men are on board. Black men are on board with abortion.
Pretty much isn't good enough.
Well, what would be good enough? What is it? What is it that black women need to have?
They don't already. Feminism wants its prostitution law. Let's give it to them.
This on-job training, crazy, yo.
I don't see the prostitution law being something that's going to be held up. I think it's going to go through.
His on-job training is crazy. Good shit, Joe.
Look, man. I just want to do my part and get this motherfucking ball rolling.
I think it's going to go through. I don't see any serious opposition to it from black men, at least. No, I think it'll go through.
Yeah, man, I done been on panels where dudes was like, fuck that shit. And again, when I asked them, I'm like, so if you such a good father, why are you worried about your daughter participating in the market? If you such a good, I don't care. So there you go.
Yeah, I think the majority of women will vote for it. I'd vote for it. I don't see the problem with it going through.
No, women aren't the problem.
Feel that
well,
way.
he's saying
I think
don't want to do it.
We'll have a sizable amount of men who will vote for it.
Not really a conservative. I would say that wouldn't it be like the conservatives would be against that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many black male conservatives are there?
When it comes to this particular thing, men get into this mode where they're trying to protect women.
Right.
That's the problem. It has nothing to do with like
yourself.
let me save you from yourself. It has nothing to do with their political party.
You and I are in the same accord, Zero. My position is, why should I save you? Meaning street harassment, meaning workplace harassment, meaning all these different things. Why can't you get the man that you're fucking to protect you?
No, you are saving them by voting for it.
How am I saving for voting for it?
When you vote for it, you are saving them from themselves by giving them what they want. Wait a minute. I thought that's what you were going to do in the first place. When you give them what they want, that's when you win.
Right. So how am I saving them for themselves by giving them what they want?
No. That's my rhetoric. I'm trolling. That's my rhetoric.
Yo, I survived that chicken and waffles, yo. I think I'm gonna throw the rest away, yo. I'm not gonna throw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put together that poll right now. I think that's a powerful question. I'm glad we was able to arrive at that, and I never thought to do it before. So.
I remember you had a show and you were talking about like how like okay, I gotta back up. Okay. Somebody else go.
No, I'm just chilling now, man. I'm actually at work. I'm logged in.
Okay. City, you don't want to save black women, but when guys was talking about leaving them alone, he was like talking about like kind of like having like this cultural bond with them. Like, we can't do that. These are our sisters and shit like that.
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Well, very good question. I think we tend to approach these problems kind of like The Man of Steel. Everybody's seen that movie, right? So on Kal-El's home planet of Krypton, they have a very interesting way of dealing with their problematic people. Here on Earth, we call it prison. But on Krypton, they call it the Phantom Zone. When people act up and break Kryptonian law, they punish them by putting them in a place called the Phantom Zone. Here in the real world, we don't have a Phantom Zone to deal with our problem people.
Hold on, we
meaning Black American society. We don't have a place to put disagreeable bitches. We don't have a Phantom Zone. We're forced to contend with them somehow. Now, we could debate the ways in which we contend with them, but we don't have a Phantom Zone. So my question was, what do we do with all of these disagreeable Black women who are going to remain a part of Black American life? And in many of our cases, intimately. These are people that are in our lives, family members. What do we do?
Are you asking a question?
Yeah.
How about leave them alone? Like walk away, separation?
All right. So how do we separate from them when we're all in the same community?
Mess with different people. I mean, like there's other Black people in the world to deal with. The Black people in this country.
I mean, for example,
community is who you like deal with, not
right. Let me, for example, the majority of Black Americans live in the southern states. That's a fact. There are relatively few Black American people in the west of the country. So perhaps one solution would be move away from those people and move somewhere where there are relatively fewer Black people of that stripe. That could be a possible solution.
Yeah, it is somewhat, but we do live in an internet age where basically you can live around people and it cannot be a community. You know, I mean, you have to actually have a community. So basically, people that think like you could clan up, you know, politically and whatnot. MOT talks about it.
I was just simply pointing out a fact. It is a fact that we're going to have these people among us, and we need
no. That's the part that's no. There's not a fact they're going to be among us. It's going to be a fact they're going to be around. Because if you separate, you're not going to be around them. You're going to have to deal with them politically, just like I got to deal with different types of groups. But that doesn't mean you are them.
Okay, so would you agree with me that one way to separate yourself would be to get out of the same state that they're in?
I'll say yes. I'll say yes. That's one way to do it.
Okay, so that would be one viable option for the Black men that are in the blackest states, where, I mean, by definition, are going to be the most Black women, and by definition, they're going to be the ones most disagreeable to what Black men want. Well, one viable solution would be to leave those states and go to states where there are fewer Black women overall. That would be one solution.
Oh, it's just something missing, man. It's something missing, man. I swear you were against Black men going overseas, man.
I'm not. I've never been against Black. I've been the biggest supporter of Black men going overseas.
Like I remember you were doing this. I mean, was it tongue in cheek when you were talking about like this chick doesn't understand the whispers? This chick don't understand.
What I said was that culture matters, and it does. What I said was that cultural barriers is a major impediment to long-term relationships, and it is.
Yeah.
What I said was that people tend to want to mate with people in their own cultural and ethnic group, and they do.
But that argument seems like it's more of a revolve, like a comeback type of scenario. But basically, it's like
I didn't say Black men should come back. I just simply stated facts.
But you say like you be like, I swear, you got a lot of. That's what I'm saying. Like you on TV, it'd be horrible, man. You have a lot of things that kind of like you kind of contradict yourself on. All you got to do
It's
is
very
pull
difficult
clips.
for people. What my positions are very difficult for people that are more simplistic in their thinking.
I mean, if you could make if you could make yourself argue against yourself, kind of shows that you go in a lot of different directions.
What I do is I deal with very complex issues. And a lot of people don't like complexity, particularly black people.
I mean, could you make Jordan Peterson argue against himself? Like
Dr. Jordan Peterson's arguments are incredibly complex. He says it himself.
no. Just because you complex don't mean you argue against yourself. You can be complex and be straightforward at the same
I'm not
time.
arguing against myself. I just got finished saying that I support SYSBM and always have. I've done so in writing.
Okay. I still think it's kind of odd that you never asked the world your question. You're basically the premise that made Obsidian. You never asked other black men. That's kind of weird, yo.
Yeah, it never occurred to me to do that. I mean, when Zero brought it up that, well, you're not. His statement suggested, let me put it this way. His statement suggested that my position is not the mainstream position among bachelors, which may indeed be true, which prompted me to ask the question that I ended up asking Pablo, who confirmed what I had done in my own life. That yes, I never married in large part because the women I wanted didn't want me, and the women that wanted me I didn't want.
I think Zero said that your position isn't the mainstream because most men won't admit to that. I think
That's
they said
what
that.
Zero said.
Yes, I'm saying. Yeah, he said because most men wouldn't admit to that. So basically, it's not the mainstream position because most people won't admit that they didn't get the chicks they wanted. A lot of dudes would be married.
That's Zero's position, which I am inclined to agree with, by the way.
How about now? All right. I know what I need to do now. I need to unplug this fucking. Hold on a second. That's my fault. That's my fault. Hold on a second. Boom. Let's unplug this. Hey, that's my fault. That's nobody else's fault but mine's. Apparently, when you have your phone connected to the actual live stream itself and bullshit actual text messages come through, it takes over the entire live stream. I didn't know that it actually did that, so we're gonna get back to it. Hold on a second.
Yeah, so basically,
I can't prove it, but I agree with it. There has to be a reason why there's so many black male bachelors. I'm not saying that what we're saying is the reason. I'm not saying that what we're talking about is the only reason. But there has to be something to explain the phenomenon. There has to be something.
the women are. I mean, hold on. This is not that. It's not like. I mean, it is something to explain a so-called phenomenon. The women are messed up. Everybody knows that. I mean, if you've been here for a while, the women are.
No, they have all the power.
Yeah. The women have the power. Men don't like to be underneath chicks, and also basically their power. Corruption, so it's like they're hard to deal with, or they just don't want to fuck with you. How about that? That's like that. The women have the power, so
all right, we have two major. Okay. So we have two major forces. The Black Manosphere is doing groundbreaking research, by the way. Groundbreaking. So we have two major reasons. One, there aren't enough attractive black women to go around. Two, attractive meaning not just physically attractive, but attitudinally and so forth. Two, because the American cultural legal system is not conducive. And three, because the women that are high quality aren't checking for you, and the women that are low quality, you ain't checking for them.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
It seems like like something that's just gonna make more conversation come, you know.
Hold a second. Hold on a second. Some fucking reason this shit is confusing itself, and I don't know why it's happening. Mike.
When that's a bad thing, why?
Why in the hell is it still playing outside of shit? Hold on.
Because it kind of shows that you like. Okay, this didn't start today. This started a long time ago, like 50 years ago. But basically, like black men need power. But we're not gonna get party. We're not gonna get power by arguing with women. We're really not.
Arguing women. This is all men here.
We're gonna go back because there was a couple minutes that was actually lost. Go back 10 minutes.
Hey, a part of Black American life. And in many of our cases, intimately. These are people that are in our lives. Family members. What do we do?
Are you asking a question?
Yeah.
How about leave them alone? Like walk away, separation?
All right. So how do we separate from them when we're all in the same community?
Mess with different people. I mean, like there's other black people in the world to deal with. The black people in this country.
I mean, for example,
the community is who you like deal with, not
right. For example, the majority of Black Americans live in the southern states.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. There are relatively few Black American people in the west of the country. So perhaps one solution would be move away from those people and move somewhere where there are relatively fewer Black people of that stripe. That could.
Okay, so if that's the case. What's wrong with SYSBM and Passport Bros? Yes, it was a 12-hour stream, but this is the end of the 12-hour stream itself. So, because things are connecting, because I'm actually at home to where there's like 12 different speakers all over the place that's connecting all over the goddamn place. Stupid shit's happening. I don't know why it's happening, so we have to go down and track down all of these speakers, and that's what's going on. What's going on? Miss, Happy New Year to you too. All right, so
could be a possible solution.
Yeah, it is somewhat. We do live in an internet age where basically you can live around people and it cannot be a community. You know, I mean, you have to actually have a community. So basically, people that think like you could clan up, you know, politically and whatnot. MOT talks about it.
I was just simply pointing out a fact. It is a fact that we're going to have these people among us, and we need.
Whoa, no. That's the part that's no. There's not a fact they're going to be among us. It's going to be a fact they're going to be around. Because if you separate, you're not going to be around them. You're going to have to deal with them politically, just like you got to deal with different types of groups. But that doesn't mean you are them.
Okay, so would you agree with me that one way to separate yourself would be to get out of the same state that they're in?
I say yes. I say yeah. That's one way to do it.
Okay.
Okay. So he talked about the South itself. He talked about separating from the people themselves. He talked about separating from the people, but it's not an issue because he actually wants you to deal with the same people, so that way he can have a position himself to keep counseling you through this actual circle that you keep putting yourself in.
So that would be one viable option for the Black men that are in the blackest states. Where, I mean, by definition, are going to be the most Black women, and by definition, they're going to be the ones most disagreeable to what Black men want. Well, one viable solution
would be to leave those states and go to states where there are fewer black women overall.
Wouldn't that be an actual pass for bros or SYSBM solution to actually move to other places where these people aren't at?
That would be one solution.
Oh, it's just something missing, man. There's something missing, man. I swear you were against black men going overseas, man.
I've never been against black. I've been the biggest supporter of black men going overseas.
Like, I remember you were doing this. I mean, was it tongue in cheek when you talking about like this chick doesn't understand the whispers? This chick don't understand.
What I said was that culture matters, and it does. What I said was that cultural barriers is a major impediment to long-term relationships, and it is.
Yeah.
What I said was that people tend to want to mate with people in their own cultural and ethnic group, and they do.
But that argument seems like it's more of a revolve, like a comeback type of scenario. So basically, it's like,
I didn't say black men should come back. I just simply stated facts.
but you said I swear, you have a lot of. That's what I'm saying. Like you on TV, it'd be horrible, man. You have a lot of things that kind of contradict yourself on. All you gotta do
It's
is
very difficult for people. What my positions are very difficult for people that are more simplistic in their thinking.
I mean, if you could make yourself argue against yourself, kind of shows that you go in a lot of different directions.
What I do is I deal with very complex issues. And a lot of people don't like complexity, particularly black people.
All right, let's go past this because we already passed this one. Let's go to the next portion. Sorry about that.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but it seems like something that's just gonna make more conversation come, yo.
And that's a bad thing. Why?
Because it kind of shows that, like, okay, this didn't start today. This started a long time ago, like 50 years ago. Where basically, like, black men need power, and we're not gonna get power by arguing with women. We're really not.
This is an argument with women, but this is all men here.
No, I know that. But I'm saying, like, okay, we're not gonna get power complaining about women because basically it's gonna lead dudes to basically find out to basically try to get women basically right so they can have sex with them. This is all it's about, is having in-house and just getting a woman to make them. It's not basically to change the law.
I agree. Black men have no interest in changing the law. I agree. Based on what we can see right now, based on all the evidence, there's very little evidence to suggest that black men are interested in changing any laws. I agree.
The real solution to this, is it can't be mainstream because the word's too raw. It's kind of like basically like what holds Chinatown together.
Why does it have to be mainstream?
Because that's what you guys are pushing for. You want to keep having discussions.
I'm not pushing for being mainstream anything. I never did.
It's going to become mainstream if you keep basically trying to have conversation over
whether
and over
it becomes mainstream and whether that was the intention are two different things.
Well, if you don't want to be mainstream, then why do you support KS so much?
Well, that's easy. I like seeing him be my champion.
You need to be able to listen to this portion of the live stream. This is the best portion of the live stream, 5130. You need to be able to listen to this portion of the live stream. You need to understand what is going on here on this live stream. 5130 is the point to where you need to start listening.
I like seeing him tell black women about themselves. I like seeing him tell black women that they vastly overestimated their market value. I like seeing Kevin tell black women, you will never qualify for a man like me and you don't even qualify for a brother like Obsidian either. Bitch, are you for real? That's why I like doing it. That's why.
And exactly what I thought. Also, that didn't negate anything he said about going mainstream.
It doesn't negate anything about what?
About what A-God said about going mainstream.
I didn't say it. I said it was never my intention.
Okay, got you.
Oh, by the way, because there's some people that kind of chuckled at the statement about being my champion. Over the weekend, I did a live stream where I used the show Game of Thrones as a kind of analogy. You can go back and hear it. You'll see what I mean. But my point was, there are voices in the Black manosphere that are saying, Obsidian's been trying to have a conversation for years with Black women, but they don't want to have it with him because he's not attractive. They only want to talk to attractive men. I agree. So what I did was I got Kevin to be my champion. We all agree that Kevin uses my talking points. I'm speaking through him. Everyone agrees with that. Nobody denies it.
Keep this in mind, because he's going to go back on this statement of that in a couple of minutes. And this is why people actually don't like Obsidian, when he could be a quite likable guy. And this is what he does that makes people fucking discard him. And I don't like that, because he has good talking points. It's just that he don't have a good direction to go in.
He's my champion. Let him tell the ladies what I've been trying to tell them. Let him tell these ladies night after night after night that you don't qualify. Bitch, are you for real? Let him do it. I hope Kevin makes $1 billion doing it. I really do. And I'll help him do it. Good. Good.
There was something about that statement you said that doesn't say power, man. Is this the best thing to do? Like, leave these bitches alone?
I mean, I'm not talking to them. They're not talking to me, right?
But you living vicariously through him.
How am I living vicariously through him?
He's your champion.
That's not what. So if a lawyer takes on your case, you're living by.
So now he just said that Kevin Samuels was his actual champion, which he is. He admitted that Kevin Samuels was the actual person who talked about his talking points, which he admitted. And now he's trying to take back everything that he just said within 5 minutes of him talking. That's the problem.
Vicariously through them?
I mean, basically, Lori. I mean, it's your case, so basically, Lori's basically taking care of your shit. So yeah,
your advocate. You're not living vicariously through your advocate.
But they're pursuing something for the betterment.
Stop. He just said that he's living vicariously through his advocate, and he's talking about not doing that after he just said that he was doing that specifically.
If your congressman gets behind, if your congressman gets behind a law that you want passed, are you living vicariously through him?
Nobody's working on your behalf.
But that's different from working by living vicariously through him. See, the problem I have.
Working on your behalf for what? That's the thing.
Problem I have is
Are you serious? He's trying to take back the entire point that he just made by walking away from his point that he just made.
Problem I have, brother, is this. Black men are really bad at expressing ourselves. We got to get much better with language. Words have meaning. Words
have meaning, like not understanding what living vicariously through people mean. You just described what it was, and you exactly what it was, and when somebody called you on it, you tried to reset the conversation past the point.
Important. You said living vicariously. I don't live vicariously through Kevin.
You're your champion.
You explained the very definition of living vicariously through.
No, that's not living vicariously.
When you were explaining
I want to hear him
say, when you said, I want to hear him say, yes,
these bitches are delusional and all the rest of it, and he's your champion. That is living vicariously through someone's words.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is.
Are you serious? You just said it twice, and you went back on it twice. People are listening to everything that you say, man. But, and even though I still fuck with Obsidian, this is what happens when you have the conversation past a certain point. You have to reset and recycle before the actual points were made. And if it's happening during the same live stream, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
He's saying the words that you want to say to the women that you want to say it to.
But that's not living vicariously.
And bringing up the emotions that you want to emote.
Are you serious? He just said Kevin was his champion. Kevin Samuels is actually using the talking points in the manuscript. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not even over that. I know what's happening, but any of the women that he's talking to is not women that you want to end up with. And that's the problem here. You can't have 50-year-olds talking about women that you don't want to fucking end up with, and after they actually know what the fuck is going on, that they've been used to all their lives. Like, you can't turn around and just simply say that they don't understand what's going on. They understand it since the age of 6 or 7. That's exactly what happened. And I don't blame him for doing that, because he's been doing that shit. Like, dude, the dude was on my live stream, not in the actual on the panel, but in chats trying to help me with shit and all this other stuff. Dude, he took all the shit and made it his and went to mainstream Black America with it. When the only thing you have to do is just not deal with mainstream Black America, because most of these people in mainstream Black America are 5 and 6 years behind the Black Manosphere's talking points, the old Black Manosphere's talking points. So you have to understand that when people are talking about the Manosphere now for entertainment and all that shit, like, they're talking about it now because they have no decision-making process that is actually based on the fact that they're going to leave these women alone. Like, the actual Manosphere right now is feeding men into the actual position that you're going to deal with these women no matter what. So you might as well learn as much about your actual overall consequences that you're going to deal with overall before you actually deal with the women themselves. And most people, this is an actual high for them. An actual high for them is actually understanding the consequences that they're going to deal with before they get involved. This is why you don't have the Generation Alpha and Generation, Z here. This is why this is advice specifically for millennials, Xers, and boomers. It isn't for anybody else. That's what I'm saying. And they've used graphics and analytics to get past the point. They're feeding you basically into the endpoint to where you're going to be. So once you start exhibiting those consequences from that stuff, you can actually go to the actual people who pretend that they're in those situations when they clearly aren't. Come on, Black man. But you need to understand this up front. I'm okay with youngsters disrespecting the shit out of me when they roll up on me. But at the end of the day, when I sit down with them and have a conversation about where you're actually headed and why you're actually headed there, the dudes actually say, what? Most of the men that I met in my life wanted to feed off my success, to feed it back to their actual people that they destroyed in the first place. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get you how to get the shit and keep it. Like, we need to prevent in 2022. We need to make sure that these individuals are not becoming these new dudes out here. That's the deal. It's very simple and it's very obvious. If you actually completed the process to an actual conclusion, I want you to show your actual outcomes. There's nothing wrong with not. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here Like, why would I call myself married tomorrow if I'm not past chasing sex? Like, why would I be here? I am the heart and soul of the Manosphere, just like the Martian Manhunter from the Justice League. The heart and soul of this place. Nobody wants to argue with me. Nobody wants to actually have a conversation with me. Everybody wants to hide behind the collective failure of children. Even though these people have created those children themselves, and they're trying to come to the Manosphere on cope nonsense, on how to actually deal with the nonsense that they created. They were smart enough to get past these things, but they didn't want to do it. Why they didn't want to do it? Because they thought that making themselves a better person would never be able to make themselves better than their actual end result in general. That's the problem.
But that's not living vicariously.
Sure it is.
No, it is not. By definition.
Okay.
What it is, and here's the trick. There are guys in the Black Manosphere who said it first. They don't want to talk to you, Obsidian, because you're not that guy. I agree. So find somebody that they will talk to. And I did.
The Minister theme song should be Pokemon.
I found somebody that they're willing to talk to. Question, problem solved.
He's that deal. He's that real. So, okay, question. What if you're sitting on stage somewhere, right, or on a panel, and then there's an academic from, say, another race, and they say, with all this data that you bring up about how socially inept your women are, they're fat, they go against you politically, the mismanagement of children. Have you guys never thought of just leaving them alone, like having a full straight movement of like not dealing with them? What would you say?
That mean? What does that mean? What does that look like?
Like separate, like you don't.
What does that look like?
Don't cohabitate with them. Don't try to have sex with them. You galvanize with each other. You basically go to other places to deal with them. Like you don't deal with them anymore because they're against you. Like, how about you leave them alone? Period. How come you guys never thought of that with basically all this?
We already have 30% of black men. We already have 30% of the best of black men already dating and mating out. 30% of the best.
And if 30% of the best of black men are already dating out, and you have a person who's online trying to teach you that I believe in marriage, therefore I'm going to attract the worst black women online to have a conversation with on average, to teach you that there are still people out here that you should deal with on average. Like, how does that make any sense overall? We're going to start whiteboarding black male failure, especially older black male failure. We're not doing that tonight, but we're going to actually start whiteboarding this. We're going to put this on the actual screen so that way you can actually understand how these things work from beginning to end.
Best already doing it, and rising. If we look at TikTok, if TikTok is any indication, younger black men are dating out at even a higher rate.
Yeah, but it's already
happening. So who are the actual older black men trying to gear you in towards? If the younger black men are already decided by the actual information that wasn't given by the older generation to them, that the best thing that they can do is leave, they've already been raised under this leadership. They've already been raised under this leadership. That's why they're not in the Manosphere. The Manosphere is an actual group for Xers, millennials, and actual boomers. It's not a place for younger black men who actually have younger knowledge of this type of stuff socially engineered into them based on the actual circumstances that they grew up in. That's why you don't have people who are actually out here That's what I'm saying. That too. And you don't want to know why that's happening? They knew who their fathers were. Their fathers were these type of dudes who claimed they came to the manuscript that they got all the ass in the past. Yes, both of those things are true. Both of those things can be true at the same time. So the people who are most responsible for the failure of the black environment are both of the men and the women who actually the men who claim that they got all the ass in the past and the women who claim that they gave it away for bullshit fucking reasons. Both of these people are responsible. So that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the women who don't have any who don't have any what am I trying to say? Experience with these actual men, and the men who don't have the actual experience with the women to come together to save all the rest of these people who didn't do the shit that they were supposed to do. Yes, two sides of the coins being played against each other to solve older people's issues.
Chance to leave them alone, though. The chance is to have a conversation.
I already am. I'm doing it through Kevin.
No, yeah, you're doing that, but I'm saying the stance should be leave them alone.
No, I want to tell them about themselves. But I'm doing that through Kevin.
But it's like, why would you want to argue with somebody?
Vicariously through another person thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another major point that we're going to actually discuss here. That's going to be discussed by younger individuals, not me as an older person. I just sat back and just let this conversation happen. But once you have this conversation happen with from beginning to end, there's really no reason at all to listen to these older individuals, my ass included, if I ain't got no track record. So what we're going to play is we're going to play younger individuals talking to an older man about how he just admitted that he was living vicariously through Kevin, and now he's going to try to take all that shit back to reset the conversation within the same conversation.
Hang on, I can't hear Jessica. What you say?
It goes back to the vicariously. I think that's what he was speaking about when he says living vicariously through someone, when you say you're doing that through another person.
But I'm responding to what brothers in the Black Manosphere said. This wasn't something that I came up with. They said they don't want to talk to you, Obsidian. I said yes. So I found someone that you want to talk to. See, I think this is what I think a lot of guys want me to do. Go away. See, I think that's what a lot of guys want. They want me to go away.
I don't know. You're super entertaining.
Yeah, like, well, that's what women want. The women want the men to just go away. Like, they already got so many bags of dicks that they don't need productive men anymore.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I was the one that settled the whole 80-20 rule piece. I was the one that brought science to the matter to settle it once and for all. Yes, the 80-20 rule is scientifically real.
Yeah, but the 80-20 rule is based on dudes having a lack of productivity and choice.
That's right. Because black women do not select for productivity.
I know.
You just said it himself. If black women don't select for productivity, then what the fuck you think you're doing dealing with the sub-segment of women who don't select for productivity? You can actually move on from those people. Now, this was actually on my channel. I made it a members-only video because I wanted to revisit it at the end of the year and at the beginning of the issue. So what I'm saying is simply that they understand the process from beginning to end. So what they're doing is they're preying on your inability to go after different groups of people because you ain't got your shit together so that way they can continue to have a voice. That's the problem here. Older individual playing on younger men's inability and direct conclusion of going after the wrong people so that way they can have a voice. That's what this is about.
I know the matter is settled. The matter is settled.
Yeah, so
now we have to move on.
What? Like, okay, so
okay, you just said it. Now that we have to move on, how do we move on when your whole position is based on the simple fact that you depend on men to deal with the same women so that way you can continue to have your same voice over these men? If your productivity is based on failed men, how in the world would you want to see productive men move past this. Like, my grandfather had conversations with me about this type of situation when I was 10 years old. And I was going to run into this type of shit at 10 years old. And I did. The people who sold all the heroin, who was getting out after their first stint, or people who was actually selling the shit in actual the 80s and 90s and got out in the early 90s and they didn't get their shit together. What did they do? They went after the younger fucking women and defiled them, so that way the only thing that you would have to depend on for your black success is dealing with damaged and broken and destroyed people as your level of success, not dealing with different people. These people did this shit on purpose, and it wasn't just the people who actually did this shit. It wasn't just them. It was the older individuals who wanted to carry the water for these other individuals that actually did this shit. That's what it was.
But here's the thing. This is why you had so many bitch ass niggas come to the manosphere, period, bragging on the simple fact that they were chose by the women who don't know how to choose right. So rather than make themselves look like they're alpha, they actually outed themselves as horrific choices in men. And here's the other thing. Nobody can show any tangible proof that they were even chose by those women, because those women are not claiming these dudes in the wide open. They're not even claiming these dudes.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem for the Derek Jacksons of the world to suss out. That's not.
No, that's not the problem only for Jared Jackson. Those problems are for everybody else who came here. You know, the actual men who were sex traffickers who came to the manosphere, who actually thought that they were actually teaching you how to deal with quote unquote female nature. Like, that's what female nature has turned into. Female nature was an actual ploy to get you believe in a broken ass fucking process, so some fucking sex trafficker or some piece of shit ass fucking dude can teach you how broken women fucking work, so that way you can turn yourself into a sexual scavenger and actually run her fucking vagina like they did back in the day. That's what the manosphere has turned into from the first part to the end. If you don't believe me, everybody in law enforcement agrees with me. I'm a law enforcement dude. Most motherfuckers in the medical community believes what the fuck I say. Most motherfuckers from the psychological community actually dealing with the actual outcome of these fucking dudes who are fucking going out here and doing all these mass shootings and shit. Is based on the same shit. They want to refocus you on the respect of the woman who's easily available generations ago is the reason why you ain't happy today. And as long as that is your end goal and your end focus as a man, you will never be able to reach your full level of masculinity, because they haven't. But you're going to have the actual outcomes and the actual consequences of that shit before these people even die. And now you're going to have to deal with this shit yourself, because all this shit that you're actually listening to that you think is red pill content, it's actually blue pill content. It's actually purple pill content. It has nothing to do with truth. Because once you reach the truth, you have a decision to make. And the decision that you make after you come to truth, what's the exact reason why you did it in the first place? It's the exact reason why you went after it in the first place. It's going on, Dr. It's going on.
Not my problem to suss out. I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't legitimate. I'm saying it's not my problem to solve.
But if you're not trying to solve the problem, then why are you talking to these people? These people are damaged and destroyed. They need actual literal fucking help, so that way they can have an actual reason to move on from this shit. You're older than us. You're older than us. There's no way that you don't understand that you're just here for fucking money. These people need fucking help, dude. Dude, like, listening to, like, bro, you got to be responsible for what you're fucking talking about. You need to have a fucking end goal of what you're talking about. You need to have an end goal. Because if you don't have an end goal, the only thing you're doing is producing the next dude who don't understand this shit, who want to off themselves on multitudes of people for not figuring this shit out. not understanding that the person who they connected themselves to in the first place that they trusted never cared about them. I know how to fight. You fight the right fucking way. You use law enforcement, the medical community, and the psychological fucking community to examine this fucking shit, which is what I'm going to do this year. They need to actually explain to you what they're actually leading you towards.
That's for the 20% of guys to figure out.
Okay, so what's the end goal here?
The end goal is for me to make money off of my travails, trials, tribulations, struggles with black women, the same way Oprah Winfrey did with her trials, tribulations, and struggles with black men. That's the goal. If Oprah Winfrey can do it, why can't I do it?
Okay,
why?
so you
hang on now. Okay. Oprah Winfrey. I studied her very carefully, and I have her in my book. Oprah Winfrey was never known as a journalistic powerhouse. Never. She's a journalist by training. That's what she went to Tennessee. That's what she went to Tennessee State University for. Her degree is in journalism.
She did journalism.
But she is not a journalist in the sense that Christiane Amanpour is a journalist. Like Candy Crawford is a journalist. She's not. You know what Oprah Winfrey is? Oprah Winfrey is your mama, your auntie, your sister, talking about very intimate, personal things. By definition, a journalist doesn't get personal. By definition, you take yourself out of the story. You don't make yourself part of it.
Okay, so when you're saying that the manosphere is going to go mainstream, and they play this clip that you just said about what your end goal is, what questions are there for the crowd after that?
There is none. Exactly. There is no question. I'm doing what Oprah's doing. Why is that bad? Why? There is no questions after that. It ends the conversation. If you believe in my right to freedom of expression, if you believe in my right to making a living in the free marketplace of ideas and voluntary associations, there is nothing to say after that. I'm successful because I created a market. I'm successful because others are willing to pay me to do what I do. The
end. You're saying that you are out here and you give a solution and then you invalidate your whole premise by saying, I'm just here for money. You do know that's what you're doing.
No, I said from day one, I don't know if you're aware of this, man, tomorrow, but for at least 5 years, I've always said that I'm here to make money. It's documented. It's on the record.
Primarily?
Yes. Just like Oprah doesn't do what she does for free. She ain't in no charity.
So you're saying that there's no underlying premise other than your ability to make money off of this specific
I just gave you an underlying premise. It's modeled after Oprah.
I know. Oprah does it too. That's your model.
Like, yeah. What's wrong with that? Why is it okay for Oprah to do it, but it's not okay for me to do it? Why?
Because you're not trying to solve the problem. Trying to keep
Neither is she. Neither is she.
Listen. Oh man, listen.
What problem? Hold on. What problems has Oprah solved between black men and black women? Have things gotten better for black men and black women dealing with each other since she started almost 40 years ago, or have they gotten worse?
No, they got better for the group of people that she represents.
Well, who does she represent?
She represents the women and the women's version and point of view. Those are people who primarily.
And how have things gotten better? All right, so how have things gotten better for them? Tell me.
They got a hell of a lot more power than they used to have in the past.
What type of power do they have? She tried to help Stacey Abrams. It failed.
She's still a woman, isn't she, though?
She tried to help Stacey Abrams.
But it didn't fail. She brought Stacey Abrams on a show, and she still tried to get her elected. And at the end of the day, it was because of the voter restriction rules that they had in place was the reason why she didn't win. And after the election was over, she re-registered 1 million people within the state of Georgia back onto the voter rolls. Like, all of this shit is based on the fact that you don't know how the system works. And when you don't understand how the system works and you need a place to justify stagnation, these are the group of people that pops up to actually make sure that you're not invested in the process at all. So that way you don't understand how shit works.
Get the governor's house in Georgia 2 years ago, and she failed.
Again, you're missing the premise. It's like, all right, man, I was up all night watching these motherfuckers create a reanimate out of my fucking brother in the goddamn hospital. That's why I had to leave for a little while. Okay. Man, all right. So, Obsidian, you're invalid. Like, this is what I mean about going. See, to you, mainstream is about mainstream dollars that goes along with your premise, correct?
I didn't say anything about mainstream dollars. Wasn't even thinking about it. See, that's the thing. I don't think about mainstream at all.
Okay, wait, hold on. So if you say that your whole idea is making money,
yes.
Why wouldn't you want to go mainstream and make a hell of a lot more money?
Because I have no interest in it. See, the problem here is
Okay, so let me explain this mainstream manuscript shit. So mainstream manuscript is about money. It's just that they don't want to be responsible for providing a tangible solution for people who are looking for tangible solutions, like creating an actual marketplace for people to complain about the women that they're going to deal with at the end of the day. That's not a really tangible solution because these people are going to still deal with the same women, which nobody wants to hear about. Because if everybody else has moved on from the same women that you're actually going to end up dealing with at the end of the day that you endlessly complain about, nobody actually cares about this issue but the people who's going to be dealing with it.
You're not interested in money?
You guys don't understand niche marketing. You guys don't understand the social.
So niche marketing is about marketing towards a specific toward of men who would actually believe in this fucking message, not really giving a care or give a shit about where these people are going to end up at the end of the day. This is why I started throwing fucking hammers at fucking another older individual. The moment that my nephew got a hold of one of his fucking videos, he started listening to the shit that he was talking about, and I started throwing bricks at this motherfucker's head. And a lot of people couldn't listen to that older individual after I started throwing bricks at his head and exposing the fact that this dude didn't give a fuck about nothing else on the planet, but you dealing with older women and feeding your best bodies to these type of women that you should be dealing with in the first place, and that he was trying to assist Black men in creating geriatric pregnancies so the older women can get off the market because this older individual created those fucking women in the first place. I keep telling you, financial gain is why these motherfuckers are here. If they wanted to actually organize for an actual result, I'm going to go over this tomorrow night, by the way, so that way you can understand this shit going forward. The real divestors were the fucking people in the fucking manosphere. The real divestors. We're not talking about the fake divestors, the women who can't produce the white men they're actually going after. We're talking about the real fucking divestors, the Black men who wanted to claim that they give a shit about Black children with no track record, without even being productive themselves. And this shit is going to be some shit that's going to fuck up a lot of people's fucking lives. But what you have to do is you stop having a conversation between the people who want to benefit off this shit. You start having a conversation with the entire planet and have other people research, look at this shit, and actually go after it in the way that it needs to be gone after. These people are fucking predators, child fucking predators.
Media landscape. Kevin has more people tuning into him every night than CNN.
I don't care about that. Like, dude,
my point is you don't need mainstream media to make a lot of money.
So since your idea is making money and you don't need a whole bunch of people mainstream to make money.
You don't need mainstream media to do it today. You don't.
But Aegon brought up earlier, like, you guys don't understand that you guys are really growing the market for people to leave these women alone, host it.
Great, do that. I'm not saying that other men have to do what I do. I never have. Why are Black men trying to shoehorn me into a role instead of taking up that mantle themselves? You do it. God bless you.
I'm just saying this, man. A lot of people, whether they are here or not there, they want to see these women pay some type of emotional cost for the damage that they've done throughout society.
And you don't think they are night by night on Kevin's show?
I'm getting to that. So women don't really like other women. So to see other women look stupid is some shit that they would actually tune in for. Me, I don't really talk to women, period. Because there's really no need for it. I mean, like, they have so much work to do on their end, there's really no need to talk to women overall. There's no reason. To me. I mean, because I'm here for, like my end goal isn't money. My end goal is better men overall, getting them to see the value within themselves so that way they don't have to outsource this stuff into chasing women in a bad environment.
And I have no problem with that. God bless you. But that's not my role. It never has. It never was.
So you're saying that you're just here for money? That's it.
That's
no
amazing. Everybody on YouTube is or should be here for money. Otherwise, there wouldn't be hundreds of millions of dollars of ad revenue poured into YouTube every year. And Super Chat now. And Super Stickers. And the ability to sell merch. This is a commerce operation. I am not a social worker. This is not a charity.
So you run a for-profit cycle of doing what? Oh, because like, if you've ever been convicted of a crime, I know that you haven't. A horrible defense would be going to court and say, you know what? That guy did it too. He committed armed robbery, and he didn't get that long of a sentence, nor should I get a longer sentence either.
Actually, that would be making a very good case because I would be arguing for precedent.
Bullshit. We all already know within the state of the United States that people get sentenced for different crimes based on their race, background, how much money they fucking make, the political connections in their fucking family, all that shit. We already know that this isn't, well, if you're not invested in the process or trying to change that shit, you can say dumbass shit like that. But at the end of the fucking day, I know that that's not true because I've been involved and invested in this position my entire life, man. So,
no,
there are
two. Be an
armed robber. In the law, there are two different main branches of the law. One is statute. The other is precedent.
That doesn't make sense though, because you have to change.
Okay, statute and precedent don't have anything to do with sentencing requirements by a judge. Remember, there was a guy in Colorado sentenced to 110 years in fucking prison for something that wasn't his fault. And the moment it got reviewed, it got lessened to 10 years. He shouldn't be serving 10 years either. But at the end of the day, to say that everybody who actually committed a crime where they lost control of their vehicle and end up killing somebody, that they got the same amount of real years is fucking ludicrous, dude. No, we're going to start walking these dudes down and start showing you that these are the black male divestors.
The law.
Yeah.
Like you still be guilty. They say no, it's not president. That person's guilty. Your ass is guilty too. You have to
again. Right. So we're agreeing that Oprah is guilty, and so am I.
Okay, so you admit Oprah's not been a good thing, and what you're doing is not a good thing either.
No, what I said was.
Just let that sink in for a minute. We're not even going to say nothing for 30 seconds. "30 seconds is over. Are you serious? You want to do the thing because Oprah got away with it?" That's almost like saying, "I want to sell crack cocaine to people in my community because the last dude got away with it. 20 years before that, I want to sell heroin in my community because that guy got away with it. You see how we end up here? There are people who want to talk about co-ed manosphere and all this kind of bullshit when they don't want to provide no solutions, no path, no nothing. I knew it was going to come down to this point to where I would just have to go after all these dudes at some fucking point. Because at the end of the day, these people need real fucking solutions, and the solution isn't give them a whole bunch of bullshit and send them off into the yonder and let them get destroyed. These women don't need these new options either. They need people who are specially trained to deal with them. This isn't specialized training. This is a specialized result and defeat that's going to be able to destroy most people. Now you see why these people call themselves black conservatives? This is why people call themselves black conservatives. Call themselves black conservatives, they're trying to conserve the entire environment for themselves, man. Like, bro, they really don't care about moving this thing forward. But moving this thing forward is very simple. It's very simple. Get your shit together and leave problematic people alone. That's why my message is different. It's always different. My SYSBM message is different. My Passport Bros message is different. My whole channel is different. My whole track record is different. Why? Because I give a shit about the people who I'm actually trying to serve overall, man. A lot of people are here to make money off of this problem. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I give a fuck about these people getting this shit fixed and solved, man. Bro, listen. Most of these people are born under horrific fucking circumstances that they need to get the fuck out of. And listening to dudes like this due to analytics is exactly how these people are going to end up being in the same circumstances that their father was into and their mother was into. Again, my grandfather didn't raise me to be an actual vulture of the actual environment. My grandfather made me to be raised, to be aside, ahead of this shit. So did my mother and so did my goddamn father. They don't want real fucking power, man. This is what they wanted. They wanted the ability to have a voice without responsibility. If you want to be mainstream, if you want to get all these goddamn views and shit, then you should be responsible for the outcome. Okay, so the dudes who claim that they got all the ass ain't responsible for the outcome. They're trying to superimpose this shit onto children. This is why you got these nasty fucking niggas out here fucking coming out here claiming that they give a fuck about black boys. Black boys, if the age is 2022 right now, those decisions have been made in between the era of like 2001 and like 2016. You can't say those fucking boys. They was born under a bad system. The only thing you can do right now is make sure that you got a real fucking system to give these people to hand the fuck down. And it doesn't matter if it's just for the fucking men. It's for the women too. They got to exercise a level of fucking restraint. And if they don't, they're going to end up like their fucking mothers and shit. Yeah, I give a fuck about this shit, but I give a fuck about it in a way that's going to fucking matter. I can explain my outcome and result. Can they? They can't do it.
Was I'm only doing what Oprah's done, which is made for personal profitable.
But you said that you don't think what Oprah did was good for Black America.
No, that's what you said.
So do you think?
I never said it was good or bad. I never said it was right or wrong, good or bad. I just simply said that's what she did.
Okay, so is it good or bad?
Good or bad based on what?
You tell me. Do you think it helped Black relationships what Oprah did?
I don't know. Based on what?
So now he don't fucking know what the fuck he's talking about all of a sudden, man. So now he doesn't know.
You don't answer a question with a question. It's like, okay.
What metric are we looking at?
Okay, outcomes of black boys. How about that? Reading.
No.
We know there are choice criteria.
No. Based on reading scores, no.
Based on Black relationships and the marriage rate, I'm assuming that's a no as well, right?
The Black marital rate, from judging from when she got her start in Chicago, that would have been circa 1984 thereabout. To present, I would say no.
has anything, do you think anything good outside of her enriching herself has come out of her movement?
Yes. Iyanla Van Zandt came out of it. Tyler Perry came out of it. Ava DuVernay came out of it. Who else?
How are those people
Tyra
good?
Banks came out of it.
Now, are you just saying as an individual that more black people who are successful came out of it, that's what makes it good? Or do you see these people as doing something that actually benefited Black America?
They do benefit Black America. A lot of black women want to watch what these people
Wait, hold on a second before we go for it. Thanks for the 10 British pounds. Before Angry Man, I think I misread it. Kevin Samuels in this new generation of manuscript. There was a crazy bruh. Who is crazy bruh? He was the first on YouTube to go mainstream, messed up by groping a BW on TV. Who is
Indeed,
crazy?
I know that incident. My good friend Paul Carrick Brunson was on the stage that day.
Oh,
was that the 50 show? I remember.
Was that the one with the black lady named the dark
Dina something or other?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. She was talking about I have dark skin features.
Tommy Sotomayor was trying to get in her pants too.
Oh, I can't remember her name.
So that's what they mean by crazy.
Dina Jacobs?
Jacobs, that's her name. Thank you.
So who is this crazy bruh he's talking about?
You can look him up. He's not hard to find.
Yeah. If you just look up this clip where they're I think you maybe type in Dina Jacobs. Basically, they're having a conversation and he literally grabs this woman's butt on national TV. I did not know he had a YouTube background.
Me neither. Okay, so now that we got that, just don't need to play that, but thanks for the
I'll see if I can go find it.
Yeah, male freedom and improvement will conflict with profit because the problem will solve. Yeah, you have to understand that this is why you got to get your own shit together, man. Because getting your own shit together fixes you forever. It's not going to fix the situation forever. The only thing that's going to fix the situation is you not being caught up in the shit. Like that,
Well, here's the problem. I already had my shit together. I've been a productive man all my life. That's not the issue. I'm not saying that shouldn't be issue for other guys, but in a very real sense, I can't do that content because it's alien to me. I don't know what it's like to be rudderless. I don't know what it's like to not have a purpose.
But these are the people who you're speaking for, man. Like, you're speaking for these actual people that you don't give a fuck about. You're doing this. You are specifically going out there and trying to be the voice of the everyday fucking brother who don't have their fucking shit together, whose mind is focused on actually dealing with fucking women that don't fucking respect them at all. You called yourself this shit. You did this. No one told you to do this. You did this shit on your own, man. Unprompted by nobody out there. Nobody asked you to do that shit. You did this shit on your motherfucking own, man.
I don't know what it's like to not have a guiding star, to not work 65 hours a week bare minimum. Those are alien concepts to me. I've always done those things.
Hold on, man. Like, the average man ain't out there going out there. The average man ain't trying to work 65 hours a week, but the average man would have to work 65 hours a week if they got themselves in some child support fucking situation that they can't get themselves out of, because they thought that they was going to verify their masculinity through chasing after a woman who I love for fucking destroying your ass for going out there and doing that shit. You guys have to fucking understand, man, that, bro, your masculinity ain't going to be fucking out here doing this shit, man. Your average man who's a young ass fucking dude, they're not trying to live this boomer X millennial fucking lifestyle, man. Bro, they got to the money earlier. The actual information in the environment has rose to the point to where they don't need bullshit parents to fucking lie to them about anything. This is bullshit.
I mean, so you like, okay, you did that portion of your life, but you turned around and doing some real non-productive shit at this point. How's it
non-productive? I sold 2 dozen hands. I sold 2 dozen signed books this weekend alone. How's it not productive?
And I bought one of them at some point.
I never got that fucking book that I paid for a handwritten signature on, by the way.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that
What? No, hang on.
and I bought one of them.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So I made like almost $3,000 over the weekend. How is it not productive?
No, I'm talking about as in productive, as in progressive, not productive as in yourself. I understand.
It is a progression. I didn't have a book a year ago. Today I do. That's a progression by definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
MOT, that link is in the back chat. I think I found what that guy was referencing on the super chat.
all right. So what I'm saying is, do you even care that things improve for Black men at all cities?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, according to Professor Ivory Tosin of Howard University and was part of the Obama era White House, things have massively improved for Black men. Jenks Morton backs him up. You can watch it right here on YouTube.
And what areas have they improved? And what time?
All of them. Life expectancy, yearly salaries and earnings, education, crime, all of them.
You're accrediting that to the Obama administration?
No, what I'm saying is that Professor Ivory Tosin of Howard University and worked in the Obama White House has reported this based on his own researches.
And what time period is he looking at?
He's looking at the 21st century.
Okay. I think we got an answer though. You know, I mean, because Oprah did it, he's gonna do it, and until Oprah has to pay for it, he's not gonna feel bad for it. Correct?
What am I not paying for?
No, I'm saying this. You're here strictly for the money. That's okay.
I've always been here strictly for the money, and it is okay. It's not against the law. I'm not breaking any laws.
No, I know that. That's fine. But I'm just saying that this is why you're here, is specifically the money. Not to help anybody. So when you talk about these Black male and Black women, they don't get along shit, you know that you don't really give a fuck about them actually coming back together.
And if you're making money off of that, don't you have an incentive to promote that dysfunction?
I've gone on numerous instances. I have said directly to the ladies, you don't have to put a change.org petition about me to get me off the air. You don't have to report me to the YouTube Politburo. You can put me out of business today. All you have to do is change. Stop giving me material to talk about.
But wait, if don't you
Stop giving me material to talk about.
But you don't want.
Black female fuckery can't exist if there's for me to talk about if there's no black female fuckery to talk about.
I mean, but you know that's not that's disingenuous.
Exactly. I have made the calculation based on my deep understanding of black female psychology that they would rather ride with black female fuckery than to do something about it, change, and destroy the black manosphere. And my calculation has proven correct, measured by my bank balance.
Don't you agree though that?
Let's go through that again.
Can end it.
Basically,
no, I mean we can't end it though.
No. Basically, you have a market that you know will never.
I mean, you guys are advocating for black men to walk away. Isn't that ending the sexual conflict by definition?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so
you guys are saying to me, well, you know that human nature dictates that sexual conflict will never end. So it sounds to me like you guys are the ones that's being inconsistent in your position.
Well, I don't think we're down anticipating every man is going to leave. We're saying men that are serious about change are going to. I don't think.
All right, well, give me a percentage. Well, give me a percentage then. Give me a number. What number would we need?
What do you mean? What number will we need?
What number of black men would we need to walk away in order to make this successful?
To make what successful?
You said walk away from women, improve your options, do this, do that. All right, what percentage, what number would we need in order to do it?
Yeah, like the majority, at least half.
51%.
Yes.
Good luck.
But that's not 100.
Yeah. You know,
I agree. It's not 100. It's 51%. Good luck.
All right. The sneak, 2008, $5. Money over legal protection before men. Keeping up the chaos is a city's goal. Do you agree with that statement?
Absolutely not. You need in the United States, in order to get laws changed, you need money and a lot of it. K Street is street lobbyists in Washington, D.C. If you ain't rolling up in there with some serious stuff, forget about it. And the main problem ain't Obsidian. The main problem is that black men don't.
If you know this is the case, why would you come out here and deliberately gaslight dudes into thinking that they're making some type of progress when they clearly aren't? I keep telling you that these people understand this condition inside and out, and they're not here for progress, and they're not even here for men to actually get their shit together. Because men actually getting their shit together would actually make sure that they have less of a voice. But now they have more of a voice because most men who don't want to have their shit together, who want to deliberately go through this actual process that they're going through for no reason. It's something that they don't need to go through. They don't need to go through this shit. All thing you need to do is lay out a fucking path for these dudes overall, and they're going to be better off. But if your actual inclination is to make money off of these people's failure in this environment, your only option left is to deliberately feed them into the actual people that you do not want them to be around in the first place. These are the divestors, not the black women. Black men are the real fucking divestors, folks. Black men are the real fucking divestors. I'm not talking about the SYSBM or the passport bros. I'm not talking about the dudes. I'm talking about the real fucking divestors are the dudes who's trying to get live off our broken condition. These are the real fucking divestors. The real divestors are the people who came in first, looked at the situation overall, and trying to make sure that men get intentionally guided into abject failure so that way they can laugh at it at the end of the day. By covering everything that the wrong type of women bring to the fucking table. Where's your track record? Like, okay, show me the man that has had listened to this actual information and they turned around and they turned their life around because they actually did this shit that you was actually talking about. Because if your actual idea is money, you want to recycle the conversation as fast as possible so that way none of this shit works. So that way none of this shit works. You have to understand that the people who are talking on YouTube are 1% of the black population. 1% of the black population. It's not even that big of a percentage. Like my percentage is far less than 1%. And I'm still here trying to fucking let you know that these dudes want to get live off your condition, man. Dude, like they want to save themselves by directly feeding you into a system that don't work. It's not the women. You keep thinking this is the women that's out here doing this. It's not the fucking women. There is no woman on the planet that is responsible for your irresponsibility. There's no woman on the planet that is responsible for your inability to be disciplined. There's no woman that's responsible for that. But when these black men come around, the PhDs and all this shit, who don't talk about what path that they took to take themselves, to take the fight to the actual people who are actually doing this shit, they ain't got no answer, man. They ain't got no answer. What answer do they got? What answer do they have? They love this failure. They love black men failing. They love this shit. They revel in this fucking shit. They revel in the fact that the women ain't gonna change. They revel in all this shit. Black men are the real fucking divestors. You don't fucking believe me? Ask these motherfuckers, what did they do to change the situation, given that they understand all this shit? Okay, if you understand all this shit, right? You understand it, right? You understand it from beginning to end. You got the stats, statistics, and all this shit. What did you change? What did you invest in? What did you stay away from? What did you do? What did you do? If the only thing that you've ever fucking done in your goddamn life is to sit here and deliberately gaslight your own fucking people and lead them into a fucking burning fucking building, then fuck you. You're here for the wrong reason. You understood their point of view from beginning to end, and the only thing you wanted to do was you wanted to fucking sit here and eat off of these black men who ain't trying to do shit with their fucking life but trying to get simple sexual access. So that way they can get the actual consequences, so that way they can't be able to be responsible for producing. You know you're part of this shit. You know it. There's not a person in the goddamn planet who don't understand. I understand this shit from beginning to end. I always understood. If you care about these boys, because this isn't even a black boy problem. It's a white boy problem. It's a Mexican boy problem. It's all these other motherfuckers problem. It's all this other shit. It's all these people's problem now. It's 2022. You niggas got to fucking put up some shit that you actually been doing in your life, man. Tell me, what is it? Because a lot of these dudes are trying to hide behind the failure of black boys, but they don't want to talk about the system and the process that created this failure in the first place. These are not young people. Alpha and Z's out of here. This is strictly a ex-millennial boomer conversation right now. My actual nieces and nephews that I helped them out of this situation, I talked to them motherfuckers over Xbox Live and got their shit straight. I wasn't directly involved in their motherfucking life. Not directly on a day-to-day basis that their parents were trying to fuck up for them. I was involved in their life through other fucking means. Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about or even care about the fathers or the mothers of these motherfuckers. And they're my goddamn family. I've always cared about the fucking kids. But I know how to get the kids and get them to actually capitalize on shit that these older motherfuckers don't. The best way to make sure that your kid is going to fucking end up right is to get them directly involved in their fucking future as early as fucking possible and turn around and show them the exact opposite of how they don't want to fucking end up like. That's how you do this shit. You don't sit around and revel in their fucking failure. I don't want to do that shit. Why the fuck would I do that? Why on earth would I want to do that shit? Why on earth would I want to make money off my intentional failure? Dude, I can't even find people younger that I can even fucking work with on average. Why? They've been listening to this bullshit, been under certain type of failed leadership of these dudes. Same dudes who think they need a co-ed manuscript to fucking make it through shit. The same dudes who want to cover celebrity junk and all this bullshit to fucking make it through this shit. That's not how this works. You got to be able to show that you compete on a worldwide level, because worldwide is what's going on out here. Nobody's coming to America and trying to engage themselves in all this goofy ass shit that's happening here. They would never be respecting them on their culture.
All right. Seeking my creative, back to the 999 which I've seen sound like he's arguing for personal benefit and mostly his personal benefit while simultaneously arguing for and against restoring black families. Do you agree with that?
I've never been against the black family. I've always been for it, despite the fact that I'm a confirmed bachelor. But guess who else is for the black family? Oprah Winfrey. Who never herself ever actually married.
So you consider being, when you say I'm for the black family, that doesn't have to be backed up by actions. That can just be a claim, essentially.
I don't have to be a woman in order to advocate for women's rights, do I? I don't have to be gay in order to advocate for the rights of gay people, do I?
No, but your actions have to be consistent. But you can't say, "Hey, I'm for the rights of women," and then
So what would it look like for me to be in favor of gay people? That I have to be gay too?
No, I'm saying you couldn't be homophobic and then say, "But I'm in favor of gay people."
But then what you're saying is that I'm against the black family by simultaneously being for it.
Well, I'm saying you cannot promote things that are anti-family or people who are anti-family and then say, "Hey, I'm."
What people am I anti-family? Who am I promoting that are anti-family?
Didn't someone earlier in the chat, like I guess yesterday, technically mention Alan Roger Curry and him with married women?
Yeah.
Alan Roger Curry is currently married with a young son.
But that proves that he's a hypocrite. He was destroying families while he was single.
According to Esther Pearl, most couples that experience adultery stay together, as is the case with Derek and Danae Jackson right now.
Doesn't that still put you at a heightened risk for divorce?
Sure. Yeah.
It does.
So isn't that undermining the family?
It could.
It could.
It is.
No, I said it could because Esther Pearl's research bears out the fact that most couples that experience adultery don't divorce and don't break up. Do you know who Esther Pearl is?
No.
Look her up on YouTube.
No, we know it destroys families though.
Perele. Esther Pearl.
But you're saying the majority don't, but you do acknowledge that some still do.
Sure.
All right, man. So when they call you on TV and they play one of these clips,
they won't call me on TV because I won't answer the call.
Oh, okay. So now you
have to understand this. They want to have a specific conversation that is around people who actually want to believe this shit. Like when you talk about mainstream actual opinion, like once shit becomes mainstream, you got to be responsible for a result or responsible for some shit that actually. You got to be responsible for the outcomes. You can't just say you're here for money, but you got to be responsible for the fucking outcomes, man. You got to be responsible for the outcomes. So when people bring you on the TV, they're going to actually have you be responsible for the outcomes. Like, this is your argument, and your outcome is going to be what? How do you get there? Like, that's what this is about. And it's like, this is the Manosphere message, is to ignore the fact that these conversations are not going to work. This shit ain't going to work. This shit ain't going to work. This shit ain't going to work. You know how many lost people that I talked to over the year got their shit together, fucked around, and got their self-esteem caught up in fixing other people's situation because of motherfuckers like this. 2 of them committed suicide, 4 overall, eventually had done so. Why? Because they went through the wrong pattern and the wrong system, and they had too much invested into the wrong path to turn around and do shit differently. The same people who are claiming that they care about black boys now. Black boys could have been saved by a better creation system of family. Like the black boys who are here now, they've been made by decision making processes that was way earlier than what we're talking about in the manosphere. You can't say these black boys who are here now. You can't say black boys do this shit. These motherfuckers are here to make money off of the death and the failure and the experiences of black boys with these women that they shouldn't have been had kids with in the first place. You want to be a black conservative? Be black conservative about the dudes who claim that they hit all this ass in the back of the day. You want to be a black conservative? Why don't you be responsible for these motherfuckers who are in the situation and circumstances that we're here now for? I'm here because of choice. You have the choice to not deal with this shit. And yes, there are women who are raised in these fucking circumstances, just like there are men who are raised in these circumstances who decide, you know what? I want something all the way to the fuck different that I have actually been raised under. And that's how you get better people. It isn't because they was taught. They just knew what the fuck to avoid. That's what they did. They knew what to avoid. Why they was raised under this shit? You ain't got you can't change the minds of generation Alpha and Z's about this shit. They was raised under this shit. They was raised under it. They knew what the father was a piece of shit. They knew it. They knew it. They didn't care about it, but they knew it.
You want it to be mainstream without you going up against any.
I don't want it to be mainstream at all. That's never been my intention. I can build my own audience. That's always been my intention from day one. I don't need.
Why'd you come up here then?
Mainstream media may need me. Well, that's the reason why I came up here is because, is the Obsidian Media Network 2 a good mainstream spokesperson for the main manosphere first heat? I didn't want them. They want me.
Hold on. MOT said, can the manosphere be defended on TV? He said that it couldn't. You came up to prove the opposite.
Right. And I did. I fielded questions and did very well in answering them.
Are you sure?
I am.
I mean, you contradicted yourself a lot.
How so?
The ARC comment.
There was no contradiction.
Basically, you undermined the whole, you undermined it like the manosphere when you basically say I'm here for money.
Yeah,
that's a different question.
You cannot do that. Basically, if there's a group out there that nobody knows of like that, and basically presenting what it's about, and then the representative says I'm here for money.
What's wrong with that? Everybody is in America.
But who says it?
What do you mean?
Where do I get this brand of coffee flavored cocaine?
Yeah. who's everybody in the
it's called Moroccan mint tea. My God.
No, he's Moroccan mint tea. What the?
Yo, we actually gave a flavor.
He did. That's always an answer. It's okay podcast. Make sure y'all go to Josh's channel as well. He does a lot of great work out there. It's formerly called Male Advice TV. Thanks for $20 super chat. So, City, you are just immediately coming out and saying, "I'm here for money. I am not here for progress."
What more progress needs to be made? We're free. We can free display.
Again, another point in time where we need to just stop and listen to what we just heard. What more male progress need to be made? What more progress need to be made? Like the progress that needs to be made is you leaving the shit the fuck alone. Because there are older individuals who understand how this process works from beginning to end. Who don't want there to be any type of progress. Period. Because the progress has already been made. The progress has been made by the system that was created. And the only thing that they're here to do is to make sure and certain that this shit don't fucking function and work properly by the actual men. Like I said, this is not a woman issue. The men's issue is productivity and moving on to other people. What? Hold on a second. It's a 12-hour live stream. You know, I can, you know what? I'm going to make the 12-hour live stream available like Friday or Saturday. So that way you could be able to go through it yourself. Because I don't do this if you review my shit and I don't like what you do, that I'm going to flag your video shit. Like, I don't do that shit. Yeah, because I understand the actual copyright shit. Like, I can let you listen to the whole video itself before this. And you need to. Because it's 2022 and these people who wants to actually do all this shit, like, they need to actually be able to answer for what they're actually doing. So.
Hey, what more progress is there?
Yeah, but they obviously didn't make enough progress because Jim Crow came around. Then you had like shit.
And we had the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, the 1968 Redlining Act. We had the Current Commission. I mean, what more do we need?
So that had nothing to do with how things actually end up with. After all those things were passed, there was a specific group of people who made sure that those things did not. Actually, I don't want to do that.
We need for the other side who actually causing the problems to stop causing those problems, and you won't need those fucking laws.
Eric Chauvin is locked up.
That's one guy. One.
The guy that shot the guy in the back down in South Carolina, Walter Scott, he got locked up.
That's number two.
The guy who dragged the man down in Jasper, Texas back in the day, they got locked up.
Number three out of millions.
The man that shot Medgar Evers in the back got locked up.
After some years, but anyway.
Yeah, come on,
wow.
Man that killed Martin Luther King got shot, got locked up.
I'm not even sure that's even guy who fucking did that shit, by the way.
Exactly.
He locked up some white guy, and we got to lock up a white guy. Get him.
So
Especially
let me
they
ask
saying
you.
the Kennedy and the book repository nigga. It's like, come on, man. Y'all just picking up niggas off the street and locking them up and charging them with shit.
He's a white guy. Get him. We need to lock up somebody. Get him. Get that white guy right there. Lock him up.
So Obsidian, let me ask you this, because you consider yourself media. I'm assuming you find the mainstream media, quote unquote mainstream media, problematic, correct?
I do.
And why is that?
Because they're largely irrelevant at this point. They're dinosaurs.
That's the only reason So that's the only thing that you have a problem with is that they're irrelevant.
It's not the only thing. The other thing is that they're in the.
And now, couldn't you argue that that's rooted in them being for profit, meaning they're putting basically money above everything else?
I could.
You could be biased as fuck if you ain't got nobody who's going to challenge your point of view. And you could just broadcast your message across all people.
So aren't you contributing to that very problem that you disdain?
No, because I'm not part of the mainstream media.
You said you were part of the mainstream media.
No, I never said that. No, I never said I was asked, do you consider yourself part of the media? I said yes. But see, there's a such thing as a citizen journalist.
So because you're not a part of the mainstream media, you're just a part of the media. You don't consider what you're doing as problematic, as
absolutely
the same problem.
Absolutely not.
Because you said, "Hey, I'm just here for money," and
what divorces am I causing? What women am I causing to be sexually assaulted? What children am I causing to be abandoned?
I mean, none technically that we can trace, but you did have another brother in the manosphere who was tied to a man who I believe shot his wife.
Who was that?
And the former law enforcement officer in Texas. Wasn't he a follower of Dr. Greg Adams?
I have no idea. You know more about the case than I do.
That was my understanding, was that he was a follower, and that that cost him steam about a month ago.
I would recommend you go and talk to Coach Greg Adams and get all the answers there. I have no idea.
Well, the only thing I'm saying,
or been on the show?
Pardon?
Yeah. Have you ever been on the show? until I hunt you down. And when I do, all of you will feel my wrath.
Where are they? I thought there'd be more people who can defend this. Come on, man. You can't do it. You can't do it. Come on, man. The pre-stream for the actual stream itself. Like, bro, listen. A lot of these dudes been getting live off of our problems for years, man. For years. Years. They have never been able to defend themselves. When they actually been able to do so, they can't defend it. Because at the end of the day, they can't defend anything. I mean, they can't do it. At the end of the day, they don't even want to defend their positions because you got to have a track record to be able to do that. You got to be able to have a track record to be able to do that. Where's your plan? Where's your plan for these people? Where is your plan for these people? Like, everybody want to hide behind black boys all of a sudden, man. Where are these people? They're not here? All right, man. So let's see what happened if they would have showed up on the last stream. So let's see what would have happened. What would have happened if people would have showed up on this live stream to try to defend this bullshit? Like, you can't. It's not our fault that you tried to come here and actually get live off our problems, man. Like, bro, we don't need that type of shit, man. We don't. Hold on a second. Thanks. Somebody got to come up. Hold on a second. How's it going, sir? Hold on a second before we go forward. Hold on a second. What you have to do, you have to remove the ability for people to be able to talk. You have to remove it. Because at the end of the day, you just have to be able to just walk through here and just be able to liquefy most of these people.
Make sure you get this. Because
So here's the deal, man. Like, most of these dudes, it's 2022, man. Like, you can't continuously keep to make money off of our shit, man.